Hey guys. So I just wanted to make kind of a little follow-up to my series that I made a few weeks ago. There it was 1 through 6, kind of my story of just my life as a witness, and then how that impacted me and my family. So that was a long video. If you watch the whole thing, it was crazy long. And it was never my intention for it to be that long. It just once I started getting information out, I was like, well, I need to give like the entire story now. So, to give everybody like a realistic view, I had to give all of those details. So, but I'm really glad I did. Like, it was super cathartic. Felt really, really good to get all that stuff out. And you guys were really great too. Just thank you so much for the kind words. Like, I had pretty much no Jehovah Witness trolls this time, which is like super crazy. I always have at least one person who says, I'm not a witness, but witnesses are the best people and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you're totally not a witness. So anyway, yeah, just it was nice to hear from so many people and just find out, other people's stories and how similar our stories are, which I love personally, because I feel like the more similar all of our stories are, the more it proves that this is a cult, right? We all kind of went through exactly the same thing. It's just the same crap over and over and over again, with very little nuance or change or maybe slightly different circumstances, but we all kind of experience the same thing. And that's just very comforting to me, kind of, because it just makes me know I'm not alone. So anyway, thank you guys for interacting and letting me know all that personal stuff about you as well. That was really nice. So at the end of that video, I was just so tired. I had to stop because I've been having like some medical issues lately, which is why I had all that time to make that video in the first place. I've been home so much. So I was just, really, really tired, and I've been doing that for hours that day. So I had to call it quits. But I feel like I kind of cut off at a very pivotal point, which is after I woke up. And I didn't really give a ton of information after I actually woke up. Because I think, not long after that is when I started making videos, and I feel like all that information is out there. But I took a bunch of those videos down recently because they're just cringy for me and I hate them. So I do feel like if you're watching these videos, then you probably, you may need more information about the right thing to do when you wake up and the wrong thing to do when you wake up, which is what I have plenty of experience with. I did all the wrong things. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information about that. And what I want to start off by saying is there was a few year period from the time when I quit going to meetings to when I actually had my, aha wake up moment. There were a few years in there where in the beginning, I was in that physically out, mentally in place, which I personally think is the worst place to be. It's worse to be that person than it is to be the fully indoctrinated witness. Way, way worse. Because you have like this doom complex. There's a cloud following you around. You feel like Armageddon's coming any minute and you are bird food. So that was a terrible place to be. It was incredibly depressing. And then I kind of went into more of a between phase. And I was there for maybe a year, where I wasn't so much like Jehovah's Witnesses are the one and only true religion and you have to be a witness or you're going to die. I was kind of moving into more of like a spiritual phase, I guess. I didn't really care so much about religion, but I was like, 21, so religion wasn't, the most important thing to me anyway, because of my age probably. But I kind of was like, yeah, it's a good religion, and they're Christians or whatever, but they do some stuff that's wrong. And I mean, and based on my previous, experience with them, I knew from a very young age that the organization was incredibly abusive and damaging. So I was kind of in that place when I actually woke up, which was still a very jarring experience, because it was more about the being lied to, it was more my frustration, and all the tears that followed was more about being manipulated and lied to my entire life. And also, I was very upset about just everything that I've been through, and not just me, but my family. We had all been through so much for no reason, right? Like, all that stuff with my dad being disfellowshipped, that was so hard. That was so hard on all of us. And it was not necessary. Like, if we had just been normal people, none of that would have happened. Like, so I was upset that I had been through so much trauma. And my family had been through so much trauma for no reason at all. That was probably the biggest thing that bothered me. So, and in the years that followed after that, I went through phases, right? And one thing I did want to tell you guys about is that when I was in the phase before I felt like witnesses were maybe not the best religion, but still just a good Christian religion, when I still believed it was true, but I wasn't going to be doing it, I started working at a hair salon, and one of the girls that worked there was a physically out, mentally in witness as well. And when I first met her, I found out that she was a witness, and I was like, "Oh, are you a witness too?" And she looked at me and she said, "What, are you an apostate or something?" And I went, "No, I no." And she was really mean to me for like the first couple of weeks I worked there, because she thought I was an apostate, and I legit wasn't. Even at that time, I was like, "What the hell is wrong with this girl?" But anyway, she had so many problems, and her and I actually became super tight, like best friends. For a few years, we were just inseparable. But she told me all the time that her and me were gonna die. We both smoked. She was a raging alcoholic, like an alcoholic like I've never seen before, that has to drink first thing in the morning, or she cannot function. Kind of an alcoholic. It was really, really sad. And she was disfellowshipped. And she walked around like I said, like there was a fireball with her name on it, and any minute now she was gonna die, and she deserved it, and so did I. And she was very, very open with me about how I deserved it, and so did she, and we were just gonna die because we suck. And I think at that point I was getting away so much from the like real extreme, like we gotta be reinstated or what, and go on all the meetings. I was thinking more like, God's gonna read your heart. And I always felt like I had a different kind of relationship with a different kind of God than the Jehovah's Witness God. I think I had a relationship with the God of the Bible, or of the New Testament. I believed in all that doom stuff and all that Armageddon stuff, but I also kind of felt like God was my friend. So I kind of felt like he would understand me, and he would know why I was doing the things I was doing. And I didn't need to be terrified of him. I didn't need to, do this one particular thing or check some boxes for him. That doesn't make any sense, right? But anyway, I just felt so bad for her, and I let her say all that stuff to me. I tried to lift her up a little bit and make her feel a little bit better, but in all the years I knew her, she never got any better. And at some point I lost track of her entirely. I know that she had a baby, and she did eventually have to move back in with her parents, and they were terrible to her. They were so mean to her, because she was disfellowshipped. They treated her like garbage. So I don't know whatever happened to her, but I loved her so much. I was really sad that she had to go home. So anyway, that aside, so you kind of go through these phases, right? And what I see a lot on Reddit is that first phase, right? So the first phase is you're pissed, right? You're just so pissed off. I was there after the initial like sobbing fit was over. I was angry. I was really, really mad. And I can see why people would, want to storm Kingdom Halls or stand outside with a sign and scream at witnesses. I can totally see why people would want to do that, or, harass them at their carts. Those people are in that phase. They're in that beginning anger phase. Sorry, my cats again want to be in the video. Apostate cats. I know you guys really like that, so I'll let you know Apostate cat wants to be in the apostate video. So that beginning phase where I was writing blogs and putting them on MySpace and writing about all the stuff that I had learned about the truth of the origins of the witnesses, that was all right there in the beginning phase when I was really, really pissed off. So I also kind of had this feeling like I had to save my family, right? I really love my dad, and I know that those 6 videos were mostly just kind of a bitch fest about my dad and all the things he's done that has pissed me off. But you know what? He's my dad, and I love him, and I will never be able to not love him. And also, I kind of view him as a victim of this system, of this church, this religion too. I mean, he didn't pick this. This was given to him. Just like I didn't pick this. It was given to me, So what I wanted so bad was to get my dad out, because I felt like if it was the other way around, he would never stop until I was rescued. He just wouldn't, he would never stop. And with my grandmother too, I felt this, it was almost difficult to sleep at night because I felt like I had to save them. So, and around that time was when, all of my stuff had been kind of outed on MySpace, and my grandma wasn't going to speak to me. And it took a while, but me and my dad did finally have a conversation. Excuse me. We did finally have dinner, and I think it was like a year or so later. I mean, it took a long time for him to even want to speak to me. But when we finally did have lunch, he was like, oh, hey, honey, how's it going? Like, nothing had happened, and I was, that kind of pisses me off because, he hadn't spoken to me in all this time. And all of that stuff had come out about how mad I was about the witnesses and everything, and all of this bullshit that I had learned. I mean, I put it online. He saw it. He didn't say anything about that. It was just like, how you doing? Everything's fine. I haven't been shunning you for over a year. So I kind of went right in and I told him that I had, all of these things that I had learned. I told him about the 607 thing. That was one of the first things I said, was that Jerusalem wasn't destroyed in 607. Honey, why does that matter? Why does that matter? Says the guy who, by the way, is now an elder. Okay, this man is an elder. He is now shepherding a flock with women and children in it, and he knows so much about the religion. Why does 607 matter, honey? Like, are you stupid? Which shocked me. And I think if I had had this conversation nowadays, I would have had it been probably a little more articulate. But at the time, I was still kind of afraid of my dad, right? Like I was still pretty young, and I don't know, I guess I've just had this fear of being in trouble, with my dad, even though there's nothing he could do about it. But it's kind of wanting your parents to be proud of you, and also the fact that, you know, this guy that I'm saying all this stuff to, I have known him to be an abusive piece of shit. So yeah, he's a little terrifying to me. And I know how quickly he can change, just instantaneously. So it doesn't matter about 607, which blew me away. And I said, well, they were an NGO in the United Nations. No, they weren't, honey. No. And I'm like, yes. It was so frustrating because I'm presenting all this information that I've gotten, and instead of saying, well, where did you get that? Like, well, I'll look into it, or, you know, he's just saying, no, honey, you're wrong. And that's something that my dad has always been really, really good at doing, is gaslighting me. He invented gaslighting. He is the best at it. It used to really confuse me when I was younger, and now I feel like I'm just really, really good at picking it out. Like, nothing makes me angrier than being gaslit. So, I mean, I grew up with it as just a regular part of my life, and thank God I am able to, you know, pick it out now. But yeah, it was, no, honey, no, you're wrong. You're so stupid. And then I told him that I had gotten Millions Now Living Will Never Die. And he got upset about that. Why? Why would you read that? Why would you read that book? I'm like, and I said, well, why wouldn't I? Why shouldn't I read that book? It was written by the judge. Like, you know, I tried to tell him about 1925, and it was like, no. So that was basically our conversation about the whole thing. And at the end of it, he just kind of patted me on the head like I was stupid and, you know, sent me off. We've had little conversations since then, here and there. A few years ago, I had a pretty serious surgery, and him and my mom both flew out to be there for my surgery. And my boyfriend at the time, we were living together, and his parents also came out. And my dad had brought a Watchtower into my house and put it on my kitchen table. And I saw it, and my head popped off. Steam was coming out of my ears. He says that he found that it was in the door, that the witnesses had put it in the screen. And it doesn't matter if that's true or not. He never should have brought that shit into my house. And that's what I told him. And we had a huge fight about it. And everybody that was there had to like leave the room and go outside. And my mom was outside with my boyfriend's parents, and she's trying to explain to them, like, you know, just the origins of this, you know, and trying to not scare them away, because they were like super normal people. But yeah, him and me had this huge knockdown, drag out fight. And I had mentioned something about how mad I was that I was baptized, and how could you let me do that? How could you let me make such a big decision, you know, at such a young age that I don't want now that I'm an adult and I can make my own choices? And he basically said, oh, honey, you're lost. So it doesn't matter if you are baptized. You're lost, and you'll never come back. Which is true. I mean, I will never come back, but his attitude towards me is I'm stupid and lost. And you know, it kind of goes along with a lot of stuff that he told me all growing up, which was that I was damaged goods. I heard those words a lot. Oh, honey, you're damaged goods. You know, you can't expect too much of yourself. You're damaged goods. I heard that all the time. My grandma told me I was bipolar all the time, which is not true. And I don't think that she knows what bipolar is, but it was like, they wanted me to have a problem, you know, like some sort of a mental problem, so they could pin all of this on that, instead of just the fact that I just kind of figured this shit out on my own, because it's really not that difficult if you actually look honestly. So yeah, that was pretty embarrassing in front of my boyfriend's parents. Sorry, cats again. So Yeah, we did that. And then the last time that him and me actually discussed this was probably a really bad time. I had him come out and I took him to a Star Trek convention in Las Vegas where I was living at the time. And him and me are big Trekkies. And I got this big bonus and I just kind of wanted to, just do something nice for my dad. And so I spent about $1,000 on these tickets for him and me. And so we went down to the Rio in Las Vegas, and my dad is a terrible alcoholic, and at the time I was drinking a lot too, so I got completely hammered. Yeah, it's a great idea. Oh. So I think I started to make fun of the carts. And I was like, what's up with that? Like, you made me go knock on people's doors all day. Like, kids I went to school with, you would send me and another little girl off by ourselves to go knock on strangers' doors. And now you get to just stand there and like look at your phone. And at first he laughed and then he got pissed because I was being kind of a bitch about it. And then I at some point, somehow I had told him that I had post-traumatic stress, which I have been diagnosed with. If there's a problem I have, it is post-traumatic stress, which I have been diagnosed with. So I told him about that, and he's, oh, honey, from what? From what? I'm like, from being a witness, from you, and that kind of ruined our trip, that whole us being drunk and me sharing too much. And that was pretty much it. I saw him at that Star Trek convention, then I didn't see him again for 5 years. And then I saw him when he was sick in the ICU, which is, I have a few videos about that. So I'm not going to repeat all of that. So yeah, that was pretty much all we really discussed. My grandma, I never really talked to. I saw her again in the hospital. As far as like, after I left, finding people who could help me out, it was really, really difficult because I didn't have reliable access to internet or anything really. And I was kind of out on my own. And I didn't know a ton of people. I didn't have a whole bunch of friends that I felt like were people that I wanted to be around, just normal working people, not people who were constantly wanting to get high or drunk or, all that stuff. So, so my friend that was working with me at that salon, the one that asked me if I was an apostate, she was living with her boyfriend's parents. And I ended up dating a guy that was living in that house too. They were basically kind of taking them in and trying to get all these guys through school, and they were just super duper nice people. And I kind of got to be close to them. They were so sweet, and they were extremely religious. And I think they were like Lutheran or something. I don't know, just like normal Christian people. And when I woke up, the first thing I did was go to them. And they were so kind about it. They hugged me, and I think one of the first thoughts I had when I woke up was, I don't know what the Bible says about Jesus. Because all of these other Christian religions, they always emphasize Jesus and they harp on about Jesus, and the witnesses kind of act like Jesus is he's important, but he's not the most important thing. And I just wanted to know why other religions have this super emotional connection to Jesus. And so they had their pastor come out and talk to me, which again, just basically the nicest thing ever. And this guy was super duper sweet, and he brought me a Bible, and he had my name engraved on the front of it before he came, which was really nice. And he wrote me a note inside that said, I hope you can learn who God really is, or something like that. It just made it was so nice. So I had some pretty silly questions for him, And they were questions like, you know, do you think the ark was really a square, a box, or do you think it was a boat, or is there really a Trinity, and you know, all these things. And he kind of, it's some of the questions, he was like, why are you asking that? Like, it's such a bizarre thing to want to know about. So I kind of started to see that mainstream Christianity is more about feelings. It's more about love and having that good feeling inside. Whereas Jehovah's Witnesses were not about that. They were about following the rules and, you know, checking the boxes and getting the hours, and about what you can't do. It was about being happy that you didn't do bad things today instead of being happy that you are a Christian. So that was kind of the difference. But that conversation, while it was nice, it also kind of was a little disheartening for me, because what I really, really wanted was to be a Christian. And what I learned in that conversation was that faith was going to be essential. And I just had come out of a cult where I had tons of faith. Okay, I was Mrs. Faith. I had faith for days. And what that faith did was allow me to be terribly misled, because I was just, you know, it was credulity on my part, you know, like, so what I learned was that I cannot do that. So from now on, anything I'm going to believe, I need to be able to see it proven, or I'm just going to say I don't know. And I think that that's one of my favorite parts about my life now, is that I don't have to know, you know, what happens when we die. I don't know, and neither do you. Like, and we don't have to. It's not my job to know all of this stuff. I'll find out one of these days. We all do. So, I mean, I feel a great deal of release in just being able to say, I don't have to have all the answers. I know witnesses love that feeling of having all of the answers, and no matter what question you have, I can pull out my little Watchtower and, you know, give you the answer. But that is, I feel like that is just a very pompous way to live. It's very arrogant to think that you are owed answers to questions. The universe does not owe us an answer. The universe is much bigger than we are, and it's I don't really subscribe to all that, you know, universe stuff. I'm not into that. But what I'm saying is, you know, there's a lot out there, and we are just this teeny tiny little piece of it. And I'm just happy to be alive. You know, I don't have to be able to tell you why bad things happen. They just happen. You know, or why good things happen. It's all the luck of the draw, and that sucks. And it's not fair. But you know, that's all we know right now. And maybe one day humans will know more. And if I don't know, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Because I'm just another part of this world. I'm just another human, you know. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, I was a little upset that basically I couldn't really be a Christian or any kind of religion that was going to require me to take anything on faith or feelings, because feelings are not facts, which is something that I also learned when I left the Witnesses was, you know, having a happy feeling doesn't mean that what you're experiencing is right or true. You know, I don't want to dissuade anybody, you know, who is a Christian or who joined another religion. I am totally, I love that we all have the ability to choose, in the Western world anyway. So I would always advocate for anyone's right to believe whatever they want to believe, as long as it doesn't hurt them or others. So I hope, I don't want to, you know, I hope I don't sound like I'm dissuading religion or anything. I'm really not. It's just not for me. And there was this, there was kind of a little transition point there also where I just felt so lost, because my entire life I had had a God to talk to. Anytime something bad is happening, you know, you pray and God makes you feel better or whatever. So that was kind of lonely, you know, like I had to figure out what I actually believe and what I can believe and what I can prove to myself. Something that I learned, took me many years to learn, was that what I like now about my life is that I can take credit for the good things that I do. So all those times when I was up against something and you know, I was nervous or afraid, and I would pray to Jehovah to give me strength, and then I felt like he would give me strength to get through whatever it was. That was not Jehovah. That was me. That rocks, right? I talked a little bit about my substance abuse issues that I had in the past. I did end up going to a rehab facility at one point, and it was a nice. I'm glad that I did it, but they really tried to push like AA and NA on me, and I just couldn't do that because of all of this. Like, you know, I'm clean now because I have chosen to be clean, and I've worked really hard at it. No one did that for me. I have the power to do that, and I used it, and now I'm clean, you know, and hopefully I won't screw up. I don't think I will now, but because it's been so many years, but a lot of the people in there were former addicts, and they would tell me, like, you know, I couldn't do it on my own. I had to, you know, ask God to do it for me. And I would look at them and be like, no, you did it. You did. You're so incredibly strong. Be like, own that. Own your strength. I don't know why we can't do that as humans, especially in the like rehabilitation world. Like, God didn't do that. You did it. Okay, so own it and accept that power and just be happy about it, because that is badass that you did, like getting off heroin or whatever. So I get to own my own strength, and I don't give it to some deity that doesn't exist. Like, I did all of these things, and I'm very, very proud. I'm very proud of the things that I've accomplished. So that's kind of where I am now. I don't have all the answers. And you know, I'm still young, and I'm sure that my opinions and my ideas will change as I get older, because most people's do. And my opinions have already changed a lot in the past 14 years since I woke up. So, and you know, I'm kind of out of the anger stage. I'm out of the need to save my family stage. I do kind of view it as a death. When you wake up from your Jehovah's Witness indoctrination, or any indoctrination, honestly, it feels like someone has died. At least it did for me. And I felt like I kind of went through all of this grieving process, you know. And now I am deep into acceptance. I like to connect, you know. I've always felt like I was different, you know, and being a Jehovah's Witness, you are different. They force you to be different, even when you don't want to be. You must always be different. And especially after I woke up, I felt like I didn't fit into the world around me. I was very socially awkward. I was kind of weird. Had a weird sense of humor, and there were a few people that, you know, accepted that and made friends with me anyway, and thank God for them, because they, you know, kind of helped me transition into a more normal existence. But I always felt like I was just on the outside looking in, and you know, I still feel like I'm weird, but I have now the ex-Jehovah's Witness community. I have you guys on YouTube, and I've got the Reddit, which I friggin' love. And I've got to meet a lot of people, and it seems like you know, I'm not so weird after all. We're all kind of in this together. I really like ex-Mormons too, because they're kind of weird like we are. In fact, I have a friend who's an ex-Mormon, and I recently told him, like, you know what, I liked you right away. I knew right away when I met you that you were like me, that you were just kind of different. And you didn't even have to tell me you were an ex-Mormon. I just knew it. So that's really nice. And, you know, the more you just live and just kind of take it day by day, the better it gets. If I have one piece of advice to give anyone who's waking up, I would say keep it private and don't talk about it to people that you know. When I woke up, the first person that I had over to my house was my stepsister, who I loved. I still love her. And I talked to her about it because she was like the nicest person that I knew. She's always been super nice to me. Even when we were kids, she's really, really nice to me. So I knew that she wouldn't yell at me or anything. I knew she would hear me out. So I had her over, and she was pregnant with her first child. And she was big pregnant. She was almost ready. And I told her all this stuff, and she just was like, okay. And she's like, well, I don't believe what you're saying. I don't agree. I don't agree with it. And she was really nice about it, but she's like, I don't believe you. I'm sorry. And she left, and I didn't speak to her again for years. I mean, it was a big mistake. It was a big mistake to talk to her about that right then. She was trying really hard to get back in because she was about to have a baby, you know, and now she has woken up. So our relationship is back. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for that. But it was a mistake, you know. I missed out on her kids being born. I just missed out on a lot of stuff because she didn't want me around because I was an apostate. And I regret that. If I had just waited a few years, I mean, she woke up anyway, you know, and then I wouldn't have had to miss out on her kids being born and getting to be their aunt, and you know, all that stuff that only happens once, that you can't ever get back. So don't do like I did. A lot of people are going to wake up. You just need to give them time. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video off. I hope that I've given you guys some information that maybe is useful to you, and just kind of telling you a little bit about, you know, my mindset now and then, and going through all that. It's no fun. It's no fun. If you're going through that, I'm so sorry. but you will get through it, and it will get better. So anyway, you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.